So we're really fortunate to be joined today by Gavin Dale. We're outside the Force Cafe in Ambleside, and we're catching up. Gavin having recently broke the Winter Bob Graham round with a time of
57, 45 seconds.
45 seconds. Yeah. The seconds all count.
Got to get it right.
So firstly, Gavin, when did you kind of decide you wanted to do this winter round, and had you been planning it for a long time?
It's been on my mind. It's been in the back of my mind since I did my first Bob Graham, which was just over 2 years ago. I'd only just moved to the Lakes, and I'd heard so much about it that I knew I wanted to do it. So I kind of moved to the Lakes, and 2 months later did my first one, and I loved it. I had a brilliant time, but I also kind of came away from it knowing that with more experience out here, more time in the fells, better shoes, that I'd be capable of doing a better time. So it's kind of been playing on my mind. And then I think the idea of a winter round sort of came this year as just then a way to make the challenge a bit different, and to try something a bit different from it. But it was, summertime this year was when it sort of firmed up.
Yeah. So we also noticed you actually did a 9 p.m. start on the Monday evening, yes. Which for a winter round gave you the majority of the round was actually in the darkness.
Yeah, just to make it more fun.
The thinking around that was.
So originally I'd always planned a 4 a.m. start in the schedule, and that then was to try and minimise, time in the darkness and get a good chunk of it in the daylight, particularly some of the more technical ground through Langdale. It was just weather in the end that did it, because the more we looked, the weather forecast just got really unpredictable, and we would do this clear window mostly through the night, basically, with rain coming back in the following day around midday. So it wasn't ideal in terms of it. It meant 10 hours of the round would be in darkness, but we did it for the weather.
Yeah, it's some going. And in terms of the weather and a winter round, you got a bit of the proper winter experience.
Yeah, we planned it to have clear conditions all night, and then we got 4 hours of snow. So it's
a job.
I was
done.
not thrilled when that suddenly came in. But yeah, I think that's part of a winter round. It's never going to be perfect, and that's part of the challenge that you set yourself with it. So yeah, we got some snow. We had pretty tricky conditions. All around sort of the middle of Leg 3 and Esk Pike and Scaffold Pike and things. It was pretty treacherous out there, but we got on with it, and we had fun.
Brilliant. And without kind of a blow-by-blow account of everything you ate, what was the nutritional strategy in terms of a balance of perhaps the VOOM products and whole foods and the things you like?
It was a balance, and for me, I've spent quite a lot of time this year working on nutrition. So when I did ARC at the start of the year, I really suffered with some stomach problems, and that was a bit of a new thing for me. So I've spent a lot of time this year partly trying to just build up the volume of carbs I can take per hour, and get to the 90 grams that a lot of people work towards, and then just a more consistent pattern, basically. So for me, that's early on in a race, it's primarily sort of fusion fuel, and the VOOM bars work really nicely for me. As I kind of go later into it, then I incorporate some other gels and things as well, a bit of the Sparta fuel, and just a mix. Basically, caffeine worked wonders for me on this, and again, because the VOOM bars, they just pack such a punch. They don't mess about when it comes to the caffeine. So I find even a half bar of that, it will just snap me out. If I'm a bit tired, a half bar of that will suddenly just have me wired again.
And one of the kind of the beauties of the Bob Graham is that fell running community that's kind of both here in the Lakes, and people come from further afield.
Yeah.
How important was that for you? And would you like to shout out any of your crew members or anything?
It was the most important part for me. It was what just made that whole day really special. I would shout, every single person who paced it with me was incredible. I'd say the guys on Leg 3, so that's Bobby and Tom, they just did a superb job, because we did have tough conditions in that, and it, for me, I felt like it had the potential to be a really difficult leg and quite an unenjoyable leg. And instead, the three of us just worked together, and there was this sense that we were in tough conditions, but that we were working as one. But yeah, on every leg, Rich Keefe on Leg 1 did a fantastic job, and was sort of analysing all my splits for himself in the future. I had Kim Collinson on Leg 4 and 5. probably doing the same.
Yeah,
And that's the joy of it. You go out with these incredible athletes, and you all support one another. And anyone going for that record, I'd support them as well. And that's the joy of it.
And final, a quick fire one. Do you have kind of like 3 or no, let's say 5 kit bag essentials, things that kind of are really important for you on a bulk weighing round?
Yeah, I mean, I could probably give you more than that, but I mean, layers is the most important thing, I'd say. I mean, I was grateful we didn't have rain forecast overnight, but I'd still packed a waterproof, and I needed it straight away. So plenty of layers. I guess, always more fuel than you think you need, more food, For something like that, where you're through the night, I did have sort of first aid and thermal bag as well. And again, just good kit in terms of like your head torches and things as well, so that you just never want to get caught out on, you're in some tough terrain in difficult conditions. You need to have a spare of everything, basically.
Yeah. Brilliant. Well, thanks for your time, Gavin. And good luck for whatever's next on the agenda.
Oh, there's a few things.